Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rocky Mountain Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair, hosted via StriveScan. A few housekeeping items before we get started. You're welcome to use the Q&A button at any time on your screen to type your questions to our presenters. We ask that when you are typing a question in, that you indicate which college or university you are asking the question to, just so that our presenters have an easier time answering those for you. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for more. And this presentation will be recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/RMACAC, RMACAC. And now I'd like to turn it over to our wonderful group of presenters, starting first with Marist College.
Good afternoon. My name is Corinne Schell, and I'm Director of West Coast Admission at Marist College, which is located in Poughkeepsie, New York, approximately an hour and a half north of New York City. We're located in a suburban environment right on the Hudson River. The picture that you're looking at here, I call the Academic Country Club. It's an absolutely stunning campus with very strong academics, as well as a wonderful environment for students to get involved with clubs and organizations and to participate in sports. I am a Marist graduate, as is my husband, son, daughter, sister, niece, nephew, twin nieces. So needless to say, I'm a little passionate about everything that Marist has to offer our students. Also in Poughkeepsie is Vassar College across town. Culinary Institute of America is about a mile up the road from us in Hyde Park. Bard College is a half hour north. There's a community college in town and a state university about a half hour west. And then West Point, the military academy, is approximately an hour south across the river. Okay, let's see. And you can't hear that one. So just a little bit of background information on Marist. We are known as the Marist Red Foxes, which is our mascot. And we have a little over 5,100 undergraduate students, which is great because the maximum you'll ever have in a class is 35. Once you get more into your particular field of study, you'll have anywhere from 5, 10, 15, 20 students in a class. No teaching assistant, no lecture halls. All of our classes are taught by faculty. You can be guaranteed by the end of the third or fourth class, faculty know who you are by name, which I think is great. We offer well over 40 different majors at Marist, and as a liberal arts institution, coming in as an undecided student is a very popular major. You have up until the end of your second semester sophomore year to determine what it is that you would really like to study, which gives you the chance to kind of dabble in different types of classes throughout your first year at Marist. We do have approximately 1,000 graduate students at Marist, and we do offer several 5-year programs where you can get your bachelor's and your master's in 5 years in things such as business, criminal justice, psychology, communications, as well as computer science. Our student body is represented by 47 different states, 64 different countries, and our student to teacher ratio is about 16:1. 98% of our students upon graduation within 6 months are employed or in grad school, which is amazing. And I attribute a majority of that to internship programs that the students can take advantage of. Here's a listing of the different majors that we offer. As mentioned, business administration with finance, human resource management, international business and marketing. We actually have an investment center on campus where our students are trading on Wall Street Monday through Friday. We also offer sports communications, advertising, public relations, fashion design, fashion merchandising. We are actually 5th in the country, 25th in the world for our fashion programs. Students will do internships at Salvatore Ferragamo, Gucci, Prada, Scotta, Kate Spade. One of our alums runs New York City Fashion Week, so our students are actively involved with that. And then we find that students will travel and study abroad at our campus in Florence, Italy, London, or Paris. Computer science is also very popular. Our students, before they even enter their senior year, a majority of them have jobs all set for them. So cybersecurity, information technology, information systems, just to name a few. And I'm so sorry. And then, of course, those internships. The only school that's required is social and behavioral sciences. However, over 83% of our students will do at least one internship while a student at Marist. Those run anywhere from 0, 3, 6, 9, 12 credit, or not 12, but up to 9. And depending on the number of credits that you take will determine the amount of days that you do. As mentioned, the only school required to do internships is social and behavioral science. So social work, psychology, a degree in psychology with dual certification in elementary ed and special ed grades 1 through 6 and criminal justice. And then study abroad. More than half of our students will study abroad at some point in their college career to well over 70 different destinations while at Marist. And then we are a Division I school for sports. We have 23 varsity, 12 women, 11 men. We have 16 club sports, everything from men's volleyball, men's and women's rugby, equestrian, cheerleading, ice hockey. And we do have a very strong intramural program at Marist. Well over 80 different clubs and organizations are offered to students. And again, New York City's very close in proximity, so there's a lot of different programs that are hosted down there as well. Residential life, upper class live in either suite style or townhouses with the majority of students having their own room. And we do everything by priority points. So the more active you are on campus, the less discipline, the more points you have. We do not do it by lottery. And then 96% of our incoming freshmen reside on campus. The other 4% are students that live with their parents. And 90% of our students who wish to live on campus all 4 years do. And then this is our screen about applying to Marist with our deadlines. Again, you can check out our website for additional information. And then this is my contact information. And I also just want to let you know that we do have an amazing program for students with learning disabilities. The woman who started our program back in the 70s went on to start the SALT program in Arizona. So I'll leave my contact information and thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Brandeis University.
All right, thank you. Let me share. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Schulman. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admission at Brandeis University. I'm also a Brandeis alum, and I represent the territory of Colorado. So if you're from Colorado, you are welcome to reach out, as is everyone else, of course. Brandeis is located just outside of Boston. We are 9 miles outside of Boston, so you have your own suburban campus with really easy access into the city. Boston, as you may know, is a mecca of higher education during the academic year in non-pandemic times. 1 in 4 people in the city of Boston is a full-time undergraduate student. So it's running wild with 18 to 22-year-olds in the best way possible. But that means tons of research opportunities, collaboration, panels, conferences, a lot of ways to enrich your time. A couple of important things to note about Brandeis, one of which is our founding, and I think it's really important to understand the context of Brandeis. Brandeis was founded in 1948. We're actually a really young institution. We were founded at a time where a lot of elite colleges and universities in the United States were operating under a quota system. So schools would admit their incoming classes based on X amount of students from this race or ethnicity, X amount of students from this religion, X amount of men, X amount of women, and that's how they would fill their incoming classes. As we know, that practice is discriminatory in nature. One group that was being discriminated against in that quota system was the American Jewish community. So the American Jewish community came together to create Brandeis as a response to those quotas so that all students would get in based on their own academic merit and not based on their religion or color of their skin or if they were male or female. You'll see a lot of themes of inclusivity, equality really woven into the Brandeis experience, both academically as well as socially. We are not a Jewish institution. We are non-sectarian. There is no religious component to Brandeis. We welcome students from all faiths, all types of backgrounds. That leaves us on a couple major values that are really important to Brandeis. The first is that we are a tier 1 research university. What that means is that a lot of our funding and resources will go towards research, whether that's the hard sciences, social sciences, humanities, fine arts. Every major needs research, right? At Brandeis, we are actually the second smallest research university that operates under the tier 1 system in the country. The average size of a tier 1 institution is 26,000 undergraduate students. Brandeis is the second smallest with only 3,600 undergraduates. So you're not competing against hundreds of other students or graduate students for that matter to have access to the labs, the professors, the centers, the institutes on campus, allowing a lot of our undergrads to participate in research anytime they'd really like. Another part of our campus emphasizes really social justice. So a lot of students choose Brandeis because they want to advocate for something, change something, fix something in the world, whether that's advocating for LGBTQ rights or environmental sustainability or finding a cure for something, working with refugees, whatever your cause is, you'll find that Brandeis is a really incredible platform for launching those initiatives. Social justice is woven into the entire Brandeis experience, again, both academically as well as socially. Our core curriculum is incredibly flexible. There's no required classes at Brandeis. Some of the highlights of the core, in my opinion, include a health, wellness, and life skills course or module where you can take things like financial literacy or stress management or CPR and first aid. Another one is difference in justice in the world. There's a global and digital literacy. We really want to make sure that our students are prepared for those next steps when they leave undergrad. Over half of our students double major. Maybe you like things on polar opposite ends of the spectrum. Maybe you like things that pair really nicely together. At Brandeis, the world is your oyster. We have students who major in things that pair nicely together, like neuroscience and psychology or business and economics, but also things on total opposite ends of the spectrum. One of my student workers last year was a double major in chemistry and theater, and things like that are totally normal, totally typical at Brandeis. Our classes are small. 60% of our classes have fewer than 19 students in them. Your professors will know you by name. And we use a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio to get to that point. In terms of what goes on campus, you're guaranteed 2 years of housing on campus. However, 80% of our students will live on campus for all 4 years. The housing does get nicer as you get older, in my opinion. There's over 200 student clubs and organizations ranging from business and academic-based groups to media and publications, to spiritual and affinity-based groups to completely random ones. My personal favorite is the Cheese Club. They import fancy cheese from around the world and then they eat it, and that is their club. And if you want to start your own club, you are, of course, welcome to do so. In terms of our graduating class, 94% of the class of 2020 within 6 months of graduation were either in graduate school, medical school, law school, or doing Peace Corps, AmeriCorps service types of programs, or of course working. Our Career Center, one of my favorite parts about them is that they're with you for life. So myself as a Brandeis alum, I can go back to the Career Center when I'm in my 60s and want to change my career. I can utilize their services. They also will provide funding if you find an unpaid internship. Brandeis students on average have 2 to 3 internships by the time they graduate from Brandeis. But if you find an unpaid internship that you really want to take part in, but you're like, ah, shoot, I also need to make money during the summer, the Career Center will help support and fund those opportunities. We've been test optional since 2013. And Brandeis does agree to meet your full need, your full demonstrated need. So what that means is, as if you're admitted, and you submit the FAFSA and CSS profile, if your family can pay or afford X amount of money, Brandeis agrees to meet the rest of that cost. So if you feel like a community-based environment is really great for you, if you love social justice, you want to conduct research in undergraduate, then you might want to check out Brandeis. I'll be in the chat if you have additional questions, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Brandeis. Next up, we have Hampshire College.
Thank you. Let me see. Get excellent. Perfect. So, hello, my name is Miguel Santiago. I prefer he, him pronouns, and I'm representing Hampshire College. I'm the director of admissions. I've been with Hampshire for about 6 years, and I just want to tell you a little bit about Hampshire College and go through a couple things that really either distinguish us and things that may be of great interest to you if you're looking for a very specialized experience in higher ed. Hampshire College is located in Amherst, Massachusetts. We're actually right down the street from about 4 other universities, and I'll go into detail about that a little bit later. We're located in a part of Western Massachusetts that is known as the Pioneer Valley. If there are 3 things that I would say really distinguish us and are very unique to the Hampshire experience, it is the following on this slide. Self-designed programs of study. We're known for having a very open, student-driven curriculum. Our 5-college consortium, we are a member of a consortium of 4, along with 4 other universities down the street, and that gives you access not only to their curriculums and their coursework and their graduate opportunities, but student life, internship opportunities, research opportunities, and just an opportunity to really expand your friend network. And the third thing that really distinguishes the Hampshire experience is actually in our admissions process. We are a test blind institution. We were the first institution in the nation to go test blind. And since our inception back in 1970, We've always been a test optional school. So standardized testing has never played a big role in our admissions process. And we've never thought it to be a determining factor for what a student knows or how successful they'll be in higher ed. A little bit more on the open curriculum. The open curriculum is very interesting because every student has access to that, and no student is actually majoring in something. So let me distinguish that. A major is already a pre-designed program of study. There are certain courses, and you do have some agency in terms of selecting courses that when you're taking them, but you're limited usually to those areas of study. At Hampshire, every single student designs their own program of study. And the great part about it is you also are doing so under the direction of an advisory committee. So you have at least 2 Hampshire faculty members who will sit on your committee and help you figure out what type of program will be specific for you, what areas of study you could be pulling coursework for, or what other methods of learning you want to participate in outside of the classroom, such as internships, field study, field research, and a number of other opportunities. One of the slides you see here is known as Division 3. That's the final year of your Hampshire experience. Every student is involved in some type of project or some type of exhibition of their work. And there are a couple of examples of what that's looked like in the past for us. Everything from graphic novels, research papers, presenting your research at national conferences, writing and producing your own play, creating an album and doing an album listening party, everything you can think of, as well as designing curriculums as well to introduce to local school districts. I've seen it all during my time here, and that's the great thing about the Hampshire experience. You get to walk out with something tangible and something that you get to say that you contributed to the canon of knowledge in the area that you're hoping to study. I had mentioned before, one of the other great aspects of Hampshire is the fact that we are part of a consortium. We have a family of universities: Smith, Amherst College, Mount Holyoke, and UMass Amherst. Smith and Mount Holyoke, too, the 7 sister colleges as well. And we are in a network with them, and they're the furthest institution is about 15 to 20 minutes away from us. They're connected by a bus system, and you have access to not only the coursework there, but as I mentioned, student life activities, clubs, all of their volumes in their libraries, as well as their archives, as well as access to some of the art galleries that are sprinkled across the universities. I had mentioned before, one of the unique aspects of Hampshire is our test blind policy. So our application process, it is done through the Common App, no application fee, but the only thing that is required is for you to complete the application. We have a writing supplement that is optional, and we do not require any standardized test scores. And even if they are submitted as a part of your application, they actually redact them before they even get to my review. So that is not going to influence my decision in terms of whether or not you're a good fit for Hampshire. We're doing a holistic approach. So I'm looking at your extracurricular involvement. I'm looking at your community engagement, and I'm looking at how well you perform in your classes and how you interpret learning. What do you want out of your learning experience? And that's the biggest aspect of Hampshire. It's not so much what you major in or what you're trying to study, but more so how you want to go about studying it. Just a little on financial aid as well. We are a FAFSA school. We actually do not require the CSS profile anymore. We just removed that from our financial aid process this past year. There's no separate application as well for merit scholarships. All students are considered for a merit scholarship on top of their need-based financial aid. And historically, we've always met on average about 95% of demonstrated need. In some cases, we will meet up to 100% of demonstrated need through a couple of scholarship and grant programs that we offer through Hampshire. Just a little bit in terms of the outcomes, just some of the things you can expect in terms of what students are doing after Hampshire College and what their experience is like during as well. One statistic I'm really proud of is the 93% at the top. Almost all of our students are involved in at least one type of internship or research assistantship during their time. A majority of them, as you can see, are actually involved in 2 or more throughout their time at Hampshire. It's almost an expected part of the curriculum. We are in the top 3% of colleges in the nation who have alums who go on to earn a research doctorate, and 1 in 4 actually start their own businesses. My information is here on the slide, and I'm going to make sure to drop it off into the chat as well. And it was a pleasure being able to speak with you.
Thank you so much. And next up, we have Hofstra University.
Okay, Nice to be here, everyone. Thanks for having us. My name is Jane LaRocco, and I work at Hofstra University. I'm going to be spending just a little bit of time giving you an overview about Hofstra. I am also the person in our Office of Admission that works with students from all of Colorado. So whether you are from the Western Slope, whether you're from Denver, Colorado Springs, or anywhere else, I'm your contact at the university. Hofstra is a medium-sized comprehensive university. We offer both undergraduate, graduate programs, as well as we have our own law school and medical school. So at Hofstra, the undergraduate population is approximately 6,500 students. If you add in our graduate students, as well as our law and med school students, the entire population at Hofstra is approximately 12,000 students. As you can see, even though we're medium sized, our average class size is super small. Classes average out at approximately 21, and classes are capped or maximized at 35. This gives you the opportunity to be in an interactive learning environment where you certainly know the faculty member, they get to know you. All of our classes are taught in small settings, as well as taught by faculty members. So we choose not to use graduate assistants or teaching assistants in our classes at Hofstra. We have about 165 different undergraduate majors, and our students come from all over the country, as well as from a multitude of countries outside of the United States. Hofstra is located in New York. We're 25 miles east of New York City in a very suburban residential area. For those of you that are from the Metro Denver area, if you think Denver to Boulder, that's exactly the same distance that Hofstra would be from New York City. It is very easy to go back and forth from campus to New York City by taking the train. The train ride takes about 40 minutes, and we offer a shuttle bus that takes students and faculty to and from the train station throughout the day and the evening hours. Students certainly utilize New York City as an ancillary classroom. They use it for culture, they certainly use it for fun, for sporting events, but more often than not, they are utilizing New York City for internship opportunities. We are big believers in hands-on experience and experiential learning, and the average Hofstra student does approximately 2.3 internships. I know, can't really do 0.3 of an internship, but that gives you an idea that most students are doing between 2 and 3 internships during their time at the university. As I mentioned earlier, we have approximately 165 different undergraduate majors. They all fall within distinct colleges or schools that comprise Hofstra. So for example, the Zarb School of Business has majors in things like accounting and marketing. Our School of Engineering and Applied Science offers things like mechanical engineering as well as computer science. We also have a School of Communication, School of Education, College of Liberal Arts. You get the drill. Hofstra students are not admitted programmatically, meaning if you are admitted to the university, you then can gain entree into any of the 165 majors that we have to offer. Gives you plenty of time for academic exploration. So certainly at Hofstra, we like to share and have a balance between academics and extracurricular activities, or academics and the social side of college. Know that housing is indeed guaranteed during your time at Hofstra, guaranteed for all 4 years, and approximately 82% of our students choose to live on campus. That remaining 16% either reside off campus or choose to be true commuters, meaning they're living at home and then coming to the university. We have about 220 different student-run clubs and organizations. Many students continue with things that they've enjoyed while they've been high school students, as well as branching out into new and different kinds of clubs and organizations. Our students have clubs that revolve around majors. We certainly have performing groups, opportunities for you to be involved in intramural level sports, community service is certainly a very large aspect of our campus community, as are our 21 Division I athletic teams. We are known as the Hofstra Pride. Pride because our two mascots are two lions. So a group of lions is known as a pride of lions. So certainly lots to do on campus in the nearby surrounding area, as well as in New York City that, as I mentioned before, is super close by. Just a little bit about our application and admission deadlines. Know that Hofstra, like many of my other colleagues, we've been a test optional institution since way back in 2014. Students certainly can submit test scores, but they are not required. We utilize the common application as well as our own Hofstra application. Don't have a preference for one versus the other. We do offer 2 early action deadlines, early action being the non-binding choice, as well as regular rolling decision. And as you can see, some mid-range test scores, as well as average GPA. Here's my contact information if you want to take a quick screenshot. Otherwise, I will be sure to drop it in the chat so that way you have it conveniently located. Thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to answering any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Williams College.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Alejandra Moran. I use she, her pronouns. I serve as an assistant director of admission at Williams, and I'm a graduate of the class of 2017. I was a biology and psychology double major when I was at Williams, as well as being pre-med. And I am from New Mexico. So if you ever have any questions about what it's like to transition from the Southwest or from the West to the Northeast, I'm more than happy to speak to that. But today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Williams and what differentiates us from other colleges and universities. Starting with where we are, who we are. Williams was founded in 1793. We are a small private liberal arts college of approximately 2,200 undergraduate students. We are in a town called Williamstown in the northwestern part of Massachusetts. We border Vermont and New York states, and we are roughly a 3-hour driving distance from Boston and from New York City. We have students coming from all over the world, representing 95 different countries across the US, also 49 states. All of our students bring in really different perspectives, all coming from different backgrounds to really form a tight-knit community where not only the students, but also the faculty and the staff all genuinely care about each other and where we all strive to create a welcoming space for everyone. So I'll give you just a few seconds to take a look at the slide and then see if you have any questions later on. In terms of academics, Williams is an institution that has tremendous resources. And we also have an academic culture that really encourages our students to pursue excellence in an environment that's collaborative and supportive rather than being cutthroat. We have a nearly open curriculum that gives our students plenty of flexibility and freedom to shape their academic experience and make it their own. There is no shortage of classes that you can take that interest you. We offer over 700 of them across 64 areas of study. And throughout your time at Williams, we will ask that you take 32 courses by the time that you graduate. So that's about 4 courses per semester for the 4 years that you're here. For us, you just have to complete a major. And we also do have a few requirements along the way to make sure that you are getting the most out of your education here. Some of those requirements include taking 3 classes in each of our 3 academic divisions that you can take a look on the slide. These classes are entirely up to you, which ones you take. We never force you to take any one class that doesn't fit your interest. Division 1 classes have classes like English, theater, music, that's arts and the humanities. Division 2 has classes in the social sciences like economics, political science, history, anthropology, women's gender and sexuality studies. And Division 3 has classes in the maths and natural sciences. So as long as you take 3 in each of those divisions, by the time that you graduate, you're all set. And something that we think, we actually think that these divisions make it so that you get the most out of your liberal arts education, because we want to make sure that you are an informed citizen of the world and that you're able to really know much about different subjects across different areas of study and different disciplines. Something that makes Williams truly unique is a style of classes called tutorials. We adapted these classes from the University of Oxford education system. These are classes of only 2 students and 1 professor. So if you think 13 students on average is too small, that's our average class size. 2 students and 1 professor really takes it to the next level where you can have a very intimate and very intense academic setting. These are not required though. We do think that students can get much out of these courses because again, you get to really delve deeply into these courses. We offer them across all disciplines and across different levels. So they do not have to be within your major. And you can start taking one as early as your first semester on campus. And if you're sitting there thinking, how exactly does a class of 2 students and 1 professor work? It's actually that one student will do independent work one week, while the other student will deliver a critique. So the independent work could be an essay, it could be a lab experiment, it could be music composition, a dance choreography, and the other student will deliver a critique. And you alternate throughout the semester to see who does the independent work and who does a critique. Something else that makes Williams really unique is our first-year residential system called the entry system. This is, we essentially place students into a cohort of 30 to 40 other first-year students, all coming from different perspectives, different regions, with different academic interests. And you are living together with a few junior students that we call junior advisors. Junior advisors are mentors to you throughout your entire first year, make sure that you transition well. They are more like older sibling figures to you, and they have no disciplinary power. So they really just want to make sure that you are finding your footing at the college. In terms of affordability, Williams, as I mentioned earlier, has a ton of resources, and we want to make sure that this is an affordable experience for everyone. So about 53% of our students receive financial aid, and 17% of our students pay nothing to come here. We also practice need-based admission, which means that need blind admission, sorry, which means that your family's ability or inability to afford college has no say in your admission process. We also are committed to meeting 100% of your demonstrated need. And Williams really does take it to the next level in this affordability realm, in that all of our students on financial aid, they qualify for what we call the Williams book rent, which means that regardless of how much you qualify for, we will cover the entire cost of your books and your required course materials. So you never have to actually worry about how much your chemistry textbook or your English book is going to cost, because that is covered in your financial aid. Lastly, for the juniors in the crowd, we do have a flying program in the fall that you should definitely apply for if you want to experience Williams, meet current students, go to classes, and I'll drop in this information in the chat. But thank you again so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Merrimack College is next.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm a weird space. I lost power in my home, so I'm making this work for you all today. My name is Christine Carroll. I'm Associate Director of Undergraduate Admission here at Merrimack College. And we are located in North Andover, Massachusetts. So we are just 25 miles north of the city of Boston. So heard some of my colleagues talk about the Boston area. Again, a great young city, huge college presence, and a lot of great job opportunities as well. In terms of what our location is like, North Andover, I would explain as kind of a vibrant suburb. So there's still a lot of restaurants, shopping, things to do in the area. We're only a mile away from the train station to bring you into the city, but we're also just south of New Hampshire. So in addition to, be able to go south into the city, you can go north and go, hiking, whitewater rafting, skiing, snowboarding, and kind of everything that Northern New England has to offer as well. In terms of our campus itself, we are made up of about 4,200 undergrad and about 1,200 graduate students, and we are mainly residential. So 70% of our students live on campus. We guarantee housing all 4 years, and we're very much residential in the sense that we are not a suitcase school. Students don't kind of pack up and head home on the weekends. We really have students who want to be here, want to be a part of the community, want to going to the activities, going to the Division I, athletic events, and really being a part of the campus. Academically, our average class size is 22. It's a 15-to-1 student faculty ratio. And, students really come to Merrimack to get to know their professors, to really be a part of the classroom, not be just kind of a face in the crowd. When I talk to our current students, and I really like to ask them, what was it about Merrimack that really made it a great fit for you? They really love that balance of the small classroom size and the hands-on opportunities really early on. But the excitement of a larger university, like I said, in terms of the Division I, in terms of all the different activities, we've been growing a lot in the past couple of years. So that's been really exciting for our students. One of the neat things about us is since we're a mainly undergraduate institution, a lot of our students get hands-on opportunity with research really early on. So even freshman year, you can work with our faculty. There's grants available for research, the opportunity to be published on papers, go to conferences. So you really get to be very hands-on. In terms of what we offer for majors, we have 5 different academic schools. School of Health Sciences, which include both our direct entry nursing program and our 3+2 direct entry masters for athletic training, our Science and Engineering school, our Girard School of Business, our Winston School of Education and Social Policy, and our School of the Liberal Arts. And the nice thing is you can really mix and match. At Merrimack, there's not really a lot of restriction around the types of classes you can take. So feel free to mix and match that engineering major with a psychology minor, or nursing with, a Spanish minor. All of those things work really well together. Another way which we really support our students is through hands-on advising. So when you come to Merrimack, every student gets one of 3 advisors. You get an academic advisor who's helping you, again, pick your classes, make sure you're staying on track for graduation. You'll get a dedicated career advisor. Starting freshman year, you'll actually start meeting with your career advisor, and we'll really start, creating a path forward for you and really start building those skills to start looking for internships and eventually career opportunities. And then third, you'll get an academic success coach. So think of this as kind of your go-to person for everything, whether it's questions about how am I successful in the classroom? How do I take notes for this? How do I talk to my professor about a paper? To, where's the Starbucks and what hours are the bookstore? And, where do I sign up for intramurals? It's really just nice, again, especially as a freshman, you are already transitioning to a new experience. And instead of having to really figure out the campus on your own, you have, again, a dedicated person who is looking out for you. In terms of the places that our students have intern, like I mentioned, Boston's really close. So a lot of the different sports organizations, biotech is really huge in the Boston area, a lot of, the financial sector. But we've had students do internships all across the country and even abroad. And that's why that career advisor is so helpful, because you don't have to figure that all on your own. You don't have to figure out, well, how do I, reach out and get an internship with NASA? Oh, well, actually, we've had students who've done that, and this is how they've done it. And so they can really, again, kind of guide that through with you. We also have a lot of ways in which we build community on campus. So we have what we call living learning communities. So you get to share residential space with students who have same interests, same vision, same different activities and classes, whether that be women in STEM, whether that be students around education and social policy issues, whether that be wellness living, sustainability living. There's a lot of ways that you can be involved on campus, both in and out of the residence halls. And then in terms of our application process, so for those of you, again, who are juniors who are looking ahead, we are on the Common App. It is a free application. Our average GPA is a 3.2, so about a B, and we are also test optional. So we do not require testing for all of our majors, including nursing. So we've gone test optional for going forward for nursing as well, which we're really excited about too. We are currently open for in-person tours. So if you do happen to find yourself in the Boston area, we would love to have you on campus, come and see, the spaces, really get to see the campus a little bit. And we're really excited to return to fully in person in the fall as well. In terms of my contact information, I will leave that in the Q&A. I personally work with all of our kind of Western students, so I hopefully get to connect with a lot of you in the fall. Thanks so much for bearing with my interesting setup.
Thank you so much. It was great. At this point, we have a little bit of time left for a Q&A. So if all of the presenters could join me back on video, that would be lovely. And we'll go in the order of which you all presented today. So the first question is, what advice would you give, or what's one piece of advice you would give someone going through the college search process? And we'll start with you, Corinne from Marist.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. I would say have fun with your search, but also make sure to do your research during your search, because two words you're going to hear over the course of the next year or 2 or 3 is the word fit and depends. And you've got 6 of us up here, and we're all different colleges and universities and different locations and cost and majors and research and all different opportunities. So you really should do your research. And then the word fit. you'll know when you do your research whether you think it might be a good fit for you as an institution, and then figure out if we're a good fit for you as well. So that's my tip.
Brandeis University.
I would add a little bit to piggyback off that, to stay open-minded. I think there's over 4,000 colleges and universities and community colleges in the United States, let alone internationally. Each of them, with really wonderful, amazing programs. And maybe there's programs or majors or clubs or opportunities that you haven't even thought of yet. So I think as you're starting to get into your process right now, it's important to keep that open-mindedness, if you will, for kind of taking those first steps. Maybe you don't know if you want the big city or the rural campus yet, and that's okay. But I would start by staying as open-minded as possible.
Hampshire College.
I'd say two quick things. One, drink a lot of water. That's just in general. I always like to give, that's a free gem. Keep hydrated, because it will drain. I know the search process is draining, but the other piece of advice I would give is, in your research, make sure to do your research and ask questions about the institution's relationship to the community. I always find that doesn't necessarily come up a lot, and it's usually the afterthought, and you have to find out when you get there in terms of how accessible is the local community to you, and what is the relationship between the institution there. And I feel that once you find an institution that really is locked in with the local community that surrounds it and creates a bigger sense of community, that's a place that you should look towards going, because it's not just an institution that gives you the top academics. That should play a role in your decision-making process. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a strong sense of community around you, that process is going to be very isolating. So that would be my piece of advice.
Hofstra University.
I would say definitely spend some time reflecting, spend some time maybe sitting alone by yourself, thinking a little bit about what's going to be important to you. What are some things that a college or university has to have, or has to be like, or has to offer in order for you to feel comfortable there? In this instance, moving more than 2,000 miles away from home. So get to know yourself a little bit first, figure out what's truly important to you. And then, as others have said, certainly embark upon a great deal of research. I also would say definitely make good use of your college counselor at your particular school. They are there to specifically guide you, to help you, to support you through this process. They've done this a million times. They're very, very good at it. So don't be shy. Make sure that you reach out to them and utilize them to the fullest.
Williams College.
Yeah, I really would just echo that last piece of asking lots of questions, not only of your school counselors, but also of the admissions representatives, because we really are here to try to help you as much as possible with this process. And we want to be as friendly as possible. We want to make sure that that it doesn't feel like we're going to get annoyed with your questions, or that there are no dumb questions in this process. We know it's really anxiety inducing. So we want to provide you with a lot of information that's going to help you determine whether we are a good fit for you.
Merrimack College.
Yeah, and lastly, my advice is easier said than done. And I think it's just to breathe through this process. Don't lose sight of the fact that this will be your upcoming senior year for those of you who are juniors. And as important as this process is, and as much as we do want you to take it seriously and utilize your resources, I don't want you to lose sight of your senior year, especially after everything that we've all been through this past year. If you're going to be fully in person again in the fall, I think it's so important to, still enjoy, those activities and your classmates, and don't lose sight of your senior year while in the midst of all of this.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And I really want to extend a sincere thank you to the presenters today. Those of you may not know, this is a very busy week for our presenters as May 1 approaches. And so best of luck to you all, and hang in there. For those who joined, thank you so much. And there will be a quick survey when you close this link, a quick 4-question survey. We'd really appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions, as I mentioned before, so be sure to sign up for more, and you'll be able to find this recording in about a week at strivescan.com/RMACAC. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your evening.